Well, United 2, Brentford 1. Welcome to the United Matters channel. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? This is how the game of football went ahead to end at Old Trafford in a way that went ahead obviously see United win this beautiful game of football. I had gone in for a 3-0 win for the club of Manchester United, but you saw what happened when we were a man down. That's when we went ahead obviously concede a goal, and very many of you, the fans, were furious about this, but never say never for the club of Manchester United. That never die altitude has come in through and obviously taken Manchester United to the levels of obviously seeing ourselves really collecting 3 points at Old Trafford. In what we are saying, we are back to the winning ways. Remember, it has been bad for the club of Manchester United. In the league, we had last won a game against Southampton and we had lost to a side known as Tottenham Hotspur, drawn with Aston Villa, and things were not all that rosy for the club of Manchester United, and most fans were like, maybe it's not our day, but we really went ahead to show to it that everything has gone ahead to obviously come up and obviously take us to where we deserve to be. So smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on the stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And it's Rokan David obviously coming in here with a lot of happiness, and I've gone ahead to love this beautiful game of football, and I really liked the tactical way Eric Ten Hag went ahead to obviously handle this game of football. You know, it looked more or less than the game that we played the previous season. Remember, we won that game by 2-1 and we came from behind. Obviously, the same things that happened were in the game of last season we conceded first, and it was through I think a set piece again, and even today we conceded first through a set piece. You get? And first half ended 1-0. Even last season, first half went ahead to end 1-0. This time around, it never really took us a lot of minutes to obviously level the game. But last season, it took us 91 minutes to obviously level, the game. And then later, 2 minutes later, McTominay went ahead to obviously score that winner, and he completed his brace. But this time around, it has been Ethan Pinnock in the 45th plus 5th minute. Then Alejandro Garnacho came in through just 2 minutes into the second half in the 47th minute and went ahead to obviously give United what we call the leveler. And then guess what happened? Rasmus Hojlund went ahead to obviously give us a winner. That's why you see on the title, clinical. Rasmus Hojlund, clinical finish. When you look at that finish of Rasmus Hojlund, it was really clinical. It was really out of this world, and I loved it, because I just know how a good finisher this guy is. I have a friend of mine who supports Chelsea. He was like, Rasmus Hojlund is not that quiet of striker, and I'm like, just give him time. You haven't gone ahead to obviously give him time, but the more you give him time, the more you're really gonna get to know how clinical and how lethal this guy is, and he's continuing to show how lethal he is in these games. And he saw to it that one chance, clear cut, obviously he killed it off. Remember, in the entirety of the first half, he was the guy really creating chances for Garnacho and other people around him. He dropped deep and his holder play was really out of this world. And Rasmus Hojlund was really very, very good into that game of football, and he was all over the pitch, and his link-up play was really great. So he scored a very good field finish. And there is one thing I want us to obviously discuss. The two players that I've always gone ahead to let you know that they are the reason as to why we've always gone ahead not to really score goals. Have you seen what they've gone ahead to do today? When they've gone ahead to do what exactly I've always gone ahead to call them out for, have you seen what has come out of the game? A win has gone ahead to come out, because look at Marcus Rashford being played on the right, and he's responsible for that teasing cross into the 18 yards box area of Brentford, and Alejandro Garnacho went ahead and obviously put in a very clinical finish. This is what I've always gone ahead to obviously talk about Marcus Rashford, that the moment he improves on his end product of the game, our team will obviously win games. You saw how that equalizer came up. Rashford went onto the side of Garnacho and put in a cross, and I think the manager is like, Marcus Rashford, when you're playing on the left, you cannot really do what I want you to do. Now, let me play on the right, but every time you're playing on the right, I want you to obviously play into those crosses. And that's what we call your end product of the game. You improve it, you also improve the team generally. But every time he really is selfish and doesn't really kill off such things, then our team ends up struggling, and those are things that we need to obviously be looking at left, right, and center. And you saw it very well that when he really came in through and put in that shift, all was okay, and we created our chances and we scored the goal. Look at Bruno Fernandes for the second goal that Rasmus Hojlund scores. That's the composure I've always gone here to talk about, that if he really finds his composure and really looks for our number 9, that is Rasmus Hojlund, obviously he's a clinical finisher. No doubt about Rasmus Hojlund. He's really a deadly finisher. And people are judging him, yet last season he had close to, I think, 7 assists, and the rest of the 10 goals he scored, they were through his own energy, And which striker is that who really scores a lion's share of his goals when they are not assists? This time round, you've gone ahead to see to it that there is a deliberate effort looking out for him, and he has gone ahead to obviously show you that one chance, one goal. One chance, one goal. That is the guy known as Rasmus Hojlund. And Rasmus Hojlund is really that kind of person who has gone on several occasions and really put in a shift on several occasions. And I really love the player in him, and he's really going to prove people right. Remember last season, he started late scoring, but this season, in the 8th Premier League game, it's his second Premier League start because he returned when you're playing against, it was not Southampton. We are playing, there is a team that we are playing against away. He returned, and that's when he came off the bench and really played. So this is his second start in the Premier League, and those are how many games? And he really has a goal. And I tell you, if Bruno Fernandes continues to obviously give this guy what he deserves, I tell you, the guy is really gonna erupt because he's a very good goal scorer. And for everyone who has been like, the guy is not good, he's not worth 72 million, you are gonna eat your words, because it's very bad to judge a player in his first season. And I asked these people that, tell me a striker who has come in through in his first season to play for a big club like Manchester United and really score 17 goals in his first season. I told them that even Edson Cavani scored 17. A man who is proven and whose experience is really undoubted. He scored 17, and now when a lad like Rasmus Hojlund comes in through and scores those goals, then you people have to obviously put respect to his name, because this is his second season and he has started 4 games. He has 2 goals this season. That is Rasmus Hojlund for you. And for anyone who really doubts his efforts, I tell you, you are really gonna know that he's really the right man for the job. And some people might be like, maybe he was that missing piece in the jigs of Manchester United to score those goals. I would say yes, because he played last season, and these players now know his runs very well. When you look at his first goal of the season, he scored against FC Porto. Rashford read his run very well and played him into space and went in for the near post effort, and it went in the back of the net. You understand? Then you saw to it that the side of Bruno Fernandes has today gone ahead to obviously find him, and it was deliberate. Eriksen played him in, and it was a flick, and he really went ahead to obviously see himself face the goalkeeper, and he dinked that ball over him, and it was really good. So that's what we should do as a club of Manchester United. And I know pressure was there in this game of football, but all in all, this game was there for us to win. You saw to it that Erik ten Hag went ahead to obviously manage this game very well. I'm going to really show you or let you know the tactical bit of it all as I really get deep into the mix. So let's go into the stats and really see how these players really looked into this beautiful game of football. Then later, I'm really going to come up and really show you how Erik ten Hag approached this game and got the tactics right for this beautiful game of football. When you look at the side of Manchester United, we had 23 shots at goal and they had just 8. And remember last season, if you can really check well that game, they really had close to 15 shots at goal. You understand? That shows you how good United has always gone ahead to obviously improve in this season. Huge positives that people are not really understanding, are not giving the best of the best into what they've gone ahead to obviously do. Hello, Wanje. So, I had an emergency call that I couldn't obviously really not attend to, but you're too important. So, United had 11 shots on target, and this is what I've always wanted to let you know, that half of the shots at goal will really produce lots of these. And Alejandro Garnacho went ahead obviously have 8, at goal only today. And you saw how United went ahead obviously control this very well, that out of all those shots, that the 8, Brentford had only 8. Had only 2 on target, and it shows you how United had gone ahead obviously erupt and really cause loads and lots of problems to the side of Man United. Really went ahead to defend very well, and whoever really doubts how Man United defended, then football is not meant for you. And you saw to it that we only conceded when Matthias De Ligt was off the pitch, not so. That's when we only went ahead to obviously concede. So as it stands, that's how United went ahead to obviously put in the required shift possible, and we put in those. And look, only 2 shots on target. That really speaks volumes, if at all you know what United has been like last season. These are positives that people are not really giving a very huge go, but me as a fan of Manchester United, I've gone ahead to obviously give them a very huge go, because I really understand what it means for the club of Manchester United to come up with such and such stats, because last season it was really tearing. It was very tearing for the club of Manchester United, and you guys know what it was all about. It was all about us really looking vulnerable all the time. So when you look at 400, we had a possession of 51%, and Brentford had 49%. And guys, the control of this game of football was really out of this world. You understand? It was really out of this world. We had control. Last season, we never had control of the game, but this time around, the control was really top notch. And I think this is one of the games that we've gone ahead to play very well. When you look at the goals, have been well constructed, how we've gone ahead to defend, and how we've gone ahead to obviously outsmart Thomas Frank. 83% passing accuracy and 84% passing accuracy into the mix. That is 84%, right? 84%. And that's how the team has gone ahead to obviously orchestrate all its work onto the field of play. 4 fouls by Manchester United and 5 fouls by Brentford. 2 yellow cards Man United and 2 yellow cards to the side of Brentford. And I think the refereeing was really good, because he never really acted like the referee who played against, who officiated the game against Aston Villa. He was really bullshit. He was really total shit. If you remember that referee, he was really total shit into that game, because he never really gave us a second chance to obviously foul. First foul, yellow card. Then 0 red cards to both sides, 1 offside to Manchester United and 3 offsides to Brentford, and then 9 corners to the side of Manchester United and 2 corners to the side of Brentford. Right? So that's how everything went ahead to look like for the club of Manchester United, and a lot really went on well, and Man United to put in the required shift altogether. Now, before I bring you the Premier League table and how it's really looking, let me tell you a little bit of some tactical discipline that Erik ten Hag went ahead to obviously come up with into this beautiful game of football. Because Eric Ten Hag came in through with what we call a plan. And the plan was like, this team had gone ahead to score very many games into the score very many goals into the opening half. And guess what the manager went ahead to do? He was like, all right, I'm not gonna really play high line. I'm not gonna really go ahead and obviously attack them immediately. I'm really gonna play a low block, and I'm really gonna allow them come to us, and really cool down that game to really prevent that effect of them scoring in the opening games. And you saw to it that they, I think, even had no threat in the first 10 minutes of the game at the goal of Manchester United. So Eric Ten Hag got it right, and I was like, what was United really playing? But I got to know it later that Eric Ten Hag had a plan. Let them not obviously score against us fast, like in the opening game minutes, and frustrate them, and they get to know that, all right, our plan is going to hit to fail, such that their manager could obviously change a little bit of the plan. And that's what exactly happened. United, around the 25th minute, went ahead to obviously go full pelt at them. We started to press them high up the pitch, though most of the presses were not full. We had like 4 people pressing, and when they really played throughout that press, we looked vulnerable, though the defense was really great, and they went ahead obviously put in a very good performance. But after Ten Hag getting everything right, chances were created. Garnacho really had like 2 chances to obviously come in through and really do the needful. We're really passing that ball, moving it very well. We really showed to it that it's just a matter of time, with the composure that we had. Guys, today Bruno has played with some little bit of composure that I had longed without seeing him play with. He has played with some good bit of composure, and I gave him his flowers, and I would love to see to it that he continues to play like that. The moment he continues to really play games like that, he's really going to give us what we call the best of performances, and no one is going to come in here to obviously slate him. That person is not going to be there to come out and obviously slate him, but we always slate him when he does something bad, and when he does something good, we give him his flowers. So you look at a player and how we really created chances. Eriksen, Casemiro, very much composed into that midfield. Look at the goal we concede, how the physio department lets us down, because how could they not really find a better way to obviously stop this guy from bleeding? Because in the second half, Matthias De Ligt played all the 45 minutes without being sent to the touchline. Yet in the first half, he was sent to the touchline twice, and he saw to it that the last time he was sent to the touchline, that's when Pinnacle comes in through to see to it that Man United concedes from a corner. And I tell you, Matthias De Ligt would have gone ahead to be into that position, and we're man down, and that's why he went ahead to concede. Though Diego Dello was really sloppy a little bit and really let this man go, from his vicinity. But all in all, I believe that if at all De Ligt was into that position, it was really great. I don't blame the referee, because that's what the rules tell you. If your player is bleeding, tell him to really get off the field of play and get things better. You understand? So that's exactly what went ahead to happen at the side of Manchester United. But we came back, had a very huge response, and I think we did very well. With our back 4 all on the pitch, they couldn't score. They only scored in a 3 set piece when Matthias De Ligt was really out. You understand? So I think that gives us some huge hope at the side of Manchester United, and we really know that all is really going to be well. You understand? So I'm here to see how things are really going to be panning out in here, and let's see what is really going to be out now. The other player that really looked good was Eriksen, Casemiro, and Matthias De Ligt. For me, he's one of those that really put in a very good shift. Dallo was good, and I just can't wait to obviously come in and obviously put in what we call the player ratings. I just can't wait to really get you the player ratings in the next 1 or 2 hours from now, because these players really looked great. And this win comes in through at a very, very critical time of Eric Ten Hag obviously coming through and cement his job and really feel like he's doing something great for the club of Manchester United. Now, the table is as follows. Liverpool 18 points. Man City 17, Arsenal 17, Aston Villa are having 17 points. Brighton is having 15, Chelsea is having 14, and Chelsea is playing Liverpool tomorrow. You never know what result is going to be. Tottenham Hotspur is having 13. Newcastle is having 13. Newcastle is having 12. They lost to Brighton. Fulham have lost to Aston Villa. They're having 11. And Manchester United is having 11. We are back to the top half of the table. And I tell you what, all what we need to do is to really win another game. I tell you, if you win the game against West Ham, we are going to find ourselves into this area. You know, because we'll be having 14 points. And I tell you, Chelsea and Liverpool is not going to be an easy game. And I know by the time we go to the international break, if I don't win like 3 games, you know, we'll find ourselves around here. Because how many more points? 6 more points take us to 17. Meaning that Brighton, Villa, Chelsea, Tottenham Hotspur might really lose. And Chelsea is really going to be coming at Old Trafford. So that's how the table is really looking. And it has been 8 games played, 3 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws, 11 goals conceded, 11 goals scored, and you're having a goal difference of -0. And the Ten Hag outers are really dying because they're like, the guy's going to hate to win, and we want him to really leave. And shame upon you for everyone who thinks that sacking Erik Ten Hag is the solution to what Man United should obviously go through. So let me go into your comments and see. Gordon Muhwezi, man of the match is Diego Dallo. All right, I'll come in and let you know who my man of the match is in the player ratings. Oburu Emmanuel, he's the guy who led the line, not Zexi Aradi. This lad is good with or without the ball in front of the goal. So obviously, Rasmus Hojlund, I've always gone ahead and let you know that Rasmus Hojlund is the number 1 centre forward for the club of Manchester United, no doubt about that. And you know what he gives us for the club of Manchester United. His hold-up play is really great, and he has the energy, he has the pace, he's really clinical, you know. And these other players of Manchester United have played with him for some time, so they easily know him, and they can obviously read his runs like a book. So that's why you see it that it's very easy for him to really identify his fellow players, and those fellow players of Manchester United are also good at obviously identifying him into the mix. Then Masa Chimna, that's Man United we want, and man of the match is Hojlund. All right, so that's the Man United we want. And now, people who question Erik Ten Hag, he doesn't have a style of play now. That's how Ten Hag plays. You get? We build from the back, and if you lose the ball, we press. For the first goal, I think the second goal, you saw how the press went ahead to obviously be effective. We win that ball high up the pitch, and Eriksson is played into, and Eriksson releases Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno really does a flick, and it finds Rasmus Hojlund, and Hojlund goes ahead to obviously put that ball into the back of the net. And I've gone ahead to see some people slating De Ligt, and I'm like, do these people watch football? Have you seen how good De Ligt is? Have you seen how De Ligt has gone ahead to be in that game? He has been super nice, and I really loved everything he put out onto the field of play. Then Alfred Kenny, Niyibigira, hello today. They tried. Hope the next coming matches can be won, but still many things to change in finishing. For me, I think if De Ligt is not off, they don't score that goal, and this game ends 2-0, and they don't even score. Onana would have gone to obviously keep himself a clean sheet. You understand? But because of how things are really panning out in here, obviously, you have to understand that it's really hard for him when De Ligt, who was one of the best centre-backs in there for you, is out. So that is how exactly things went ahead to happen. So I think we played very well, and all what we needed was a win, but a win came in with lots of positives into this game, and it has been really great. And this is what a win does. It really motivates the club, and we are going to go to Fenerbahce. That is next week when we are really fired up. Masa Chimna, but Zexi is too heavy to run. He needs to improve. Guys, you know, sometimes I don't want to judge players in their first season. That is it. We've seen him do his job, and I think he is really one of those players that is just getting to the system. That is it. Look at Rasmus Hojlund. He's playing like he has been here for years, and that one season that he played with these players has helped him know exactly the patterns of this club. Now, for Joshua Zexi, don't judge him for this season, but he's really good, and I know he really does a lot. You understand? So, he will really improve. That's what I know. Masa Chimna, Garnacho, too selfish. Yeah, he was selfish, that is it. He was too selfish, and he had 8 shots at goal. And for me, however much he was going to hit to score, I blame him sometimes that instead of really putting in that cutback, and really release other players, he doesn't do it, and that really pisses me off. But he has gone ahead to score, and we've gone ahead to win. On another day, if it's not a win, everyone would have gone ahead to say Garnacho was really selfish, but he got himself a goal. All Port Charles, Bruno Fernandes created an assist, but he has improved, but the rest played really. I see Ugarte is going to be a good midfielder for us. Yeah, Ugarte is going to be a very good midfielder for the club of... he's going to be a good midfielder for the club of Manchester United. You saw that run he made towards the end of the game. He skipped past 3-4 players and went ahead to obviously find a very good pass. I think to Bruno Fernandes. And I think Bruno Fernandes really played with a lot of composure. And that's what you've always gone ahead to call in for. That compose yourself and the rest will come easily. You get not going in for Hollywood passes, I hate that. Let him really get himself composed, and that composure, we'll see our players really getting released, and when they're released, a lot will obviously come in through and see to it that the team gets its best product and result. You understand? So, that is it for Bruno Fernandes. Masachim Nakazimiro played very well alongside Eriksson on the double pivot. Yeah, but I think we lacked that mobility. We lacked that mobility in that midfield, to obviously come and really track back, especially when the side of Brentford went ahead to beat through the press of Manchester United. We are really vulnerable, and against West Ham, we go with that double pivot. I think it might cause us problems because West Ham has players in that midfield that can really maraud and really cause lots of problems and really put us to those levels, So I think Manuel Ugarte has to come into that team. He has to come into that team and really do the needful and really strengthen it. Masa Chimna watching from Zambia. Congratulations, Man United. Dallo need to play as a right back from today onwards. Look at how I've said this. If you've been a regular on this channel, I think I've sounded this a lot, that I would keep Dallo onto the right and play Mazurui onto the left. That is it. Because see what Dallo gets you. Today he made close to 2 runs, and he was identified very well by Onana into those half spaces of the pitch, and that was a tactic. And this is where people come out and say, where are Erik ten Hag tactics now? That was a tactic to see Marcus Rashford drop back into the right back position and Dallo snitching into the right inside tunnel and went ahead to obviously run at the goalkeeper. And even last season, there are games where it really happened twice. You understand? So, I just love that. And everyone who is like, where are the tactics of the manager? Those are some of the moments that you have to look at and really get to know that him and the man has tactics to obviously kill off this beautiful game of football. So he should be played on the right, and I think Mazraoui should be played on the left. Meanwhile, as we wait for Malacia to obviously come back, because Luxor looks like it's going to take forever to return. Then Happy Sichinga, we started at a very bad pace, which was very bad. As started gaining confidence. I believe this win will give a team drive. The team has good players. It's a matter of settling down. I think, as I've gone ahead to explain to you, it was the tactics of Erik ten Hag. Those were the tactics that Ten Hag really came up with, because Brentford are a side that has on several occasions gone ahead to obviously score goals in the opening minutes of the game. You understand? So they've gone ahead to obviously do that on several occasions, and in that they found themselves really putting in a shift. So Ten Hag was like, let me prevent you from obviously scoring in the first minutes, and I'm going to really open up and really attack you in the 20th minute, and that's what he went ahead to do. But it can act as a very good springboard as we get to Fenerbahce, beat them, get to West Ham, beat them, beat Leicester City, and then host Chelsea. I think if we win all those games, Chelsea will be just an easy game to overcome and will beat them hands down. Happy Sichinga, we can snatch something again this year. It's all about us getting the momentum. That is it. If we get the momentum, all will be well. Muzamiru Gaddafi, Delete and Rasmus, they played wholeheartedly. Man of the match, select among the two. So you're right, because Delete and Rasmus Hojlund, for me, were the best players on the field of play. You know, others will say Dalot, but I think he looked good. But Matthias Delete and Rasmus Hojlund were really a class apart. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. That has been what I had obviously thrown into as a match reaction. So continue to obviously go into the live chat and tell me what your thoughts are about it. Rokan David is my name. I sign out for now.